We will get together to celebrate success on the ice and on the court. Well, maybe not this, but definitely this. Red is always ready to cheer the home squad on. So help us ring in the new year. Sports Night is next.
Hello, everyone. Happy New Year and welcome to Sports Night. I'm Joe Young.
And I'm Howie Shapiro. And we certainly hope everybody had a wonderful New Year's Eve and a happy and healthy New Year. And I'm really ready for 2019 to hit the ground running. We're going to have a great time.
Well, we obviously took a week off for the holidays, so a lot to catch up on, but some unexpected cancellations due to the weather at the end of 2018. Meant a lot of teams didn't get to do their holiday tournaments that they had planned to. Wrestling team did not get to go to Fargo for the Rumble on the Red, and actually, according to Coach Noah Glenn, there were like 28 or 30 teams from the Metro that did not go to that tournament.
Yeah, it's unfortunate because this is a great time of year for the kids are off school and they get an opportunity to be in holiday tournaments, something that they look forward to, I know, and it's unfortunate when the weather cancels those plans.
Yeah, especially when that is their one out-of-town trip with their team to compete, and it's more than just the competition, but also that time off of the field of play to do some bonding. But a lot of stuff did get played over the last couple of weeks. Boys hockey team had that weird postponement against Providence on the 18th. So the only games they played in the last 2 weeks were a couple they played in River Falls on the 28th and 29th. On the 28th, they played Somerset, and they won that one 4-0. Tommy Carls had 2 goals and an assist. A.J. Carls had a goal and 2 assists. Kirby Peary had the other goal. Connor Wise had 18 saves to record his second shutout of the season. Then on Saturday, the Cardinals beating the Wildcats from River Falls 3-1. A.J. had 2 goals. Tommy had 2 assists. And Jeremiah Simonson getting a goal from the blue line. Connor Wise made 24 saves in that one. Cardinals improving their record to 4-5, and coming into the new year, looking to try and expand on that.
Yeah, and you've obviously had a lot of time to see them and see their squad as they're progressing, you know, kind of game after game, getting a little bit better and finding some offense as well, which is always a good thing.
Well, they've moved some pieces around, trying to get some more scoring from the second and third lines to hopefully give them a little bit more depth. They'll definitely be tested this week. Armstrong Cooper on Thursday coming to the Crick, and Howie?
We'll be there.
And then they're at Champlain Park on Saturday, and Champlain Park always a very, very good team. Girls hockey team played a lot over the last couple of weeks. It started with a game against their former co-op team, the Spring Lake Park Panthers. CPCR beats them 4-1. Bezcalo, Shaq, Delaney Johnson, and Mackenzie Baker had the goals for the Bluebirds. Bailey Shuck made 19 saves to record the win. Well, the Bluebirds were feeling pretty good with 5 straight wins and 6 in their last 7 games, but they knew their road was going to get a lot harder. On Thursday, the 20th, the Cardinals welcomed third-ranked Wayzata to the Crick for some old-time fun on the CTN outdoor rink. The Trojans were 10-2 with their losses coming at the hands of the top 2 teams in the state, Edina and Blake. Bluebirds would have their hands full and would need a fast start if they hoped to have a chance. Fans were pumped up, having some fun, in part thanks to the unseasonably warm weather for late December. No score until late in the first period. Bluebirds keeping the pressure in the Trojans' end. Mackenzie Baker throws the puck towards the net, gets a fortunate bounce off the goalie. CPCR takes a 1-0 lead to the first intermission. Wayzata dictating the tempo most of the game. They get the equalizer late in the second. Sophie Heyer behind the net finds Sophie Urban out front for the quick shot. That makes it a 1-1 game going into the third period. Trojans' pressure was relentless. They outshot the Bluebirds 38-11 in the game, including 16-0 in the third period. Ali Scoro gets the eventual game winner just over 2 minutes into the final frame. First shot is blocked, but her second chance beats Shuck high on the short side. And then midway through the period, Bluebirds on the power play. Sloan Matthews gets the steal and gets in alone on the breakaway. Shuck makes the save, but the Bluebirds can't clear. Matthews will get it back on the doorstep and score the shorthanded tally on the backhand. Trojans hold on from there for the 3-1 win.
Yeah, they knew coming in that's going to be a tough contest. Wayzata, very, of course, led by Jess Christopherson, or Jess Scott, I should say. And they knew it was going to be a tough test for them, but I think formidable 3-1 loss. It certainly is nothing to hang their heads about.
Well, it says a lot about the play of Bailey Shuck that they were still 1-1 going into the third period despite being heavily outshot. Unfortunate that they couldn't generate a little more offense, but I think it's great to see them play a high-level team like that and be able to take it down to the wire. Then they played in the Kaposia Classic over the weekend and into the afternoon on New Year's Eve. Started with a 3-2 loss at the hands of Elk River Zimmerman on Friday the 28th. Bezcalo had a goal and an assist. Baker had a goal. Lisney and Williams each had assists, and Bailey Shuck made 25 saves. And then on Saturday, they had to go to overtime to beat the team from Hibbing Chisholm. Delaney Johnson got the goal in the extra period. Assists for Lisney and Bezcalo. Bailey Shuck made 19 saves to record the shutout.
Well, the overtime win put the Cardinals in Monday's afternoon's consolation championship game against Mounds View. The Mustangs are struggling to find offense this season. Their 2-1 win over Lakeville South on Saturday was just their third victory of the year. They'd only scored 3 or more in 2 of their 15 games, but they would give the Bluebirds all they could handle. Mustangs charged to the early lead midway through the first period. Good pressure down low. The Bluebirds can't clear. The shot from the point deflects and slides just inside the far post to give Mounds View the 1-0 lead after 1. Now the Bluebirds are going to even it up on the power play early in the second. Baker's low-angle shot is stopped, but the rebound is kicked to the far side where Haley Williams puts it into the wide-open net to even the score. Unfortunately, that didn't last long. The Mustangs answered just 30 seconds later. Rachel Agurin slides it to Jolie Duell alone in the slot. She beats Johnson with the wrist shot, puts Mounds View back in front 2-1. Opening minute of the final frame, Bluebirds shorthanded, but Delaney Johnson gets in on the breakaway, goes to the backhand, slides it home to even the score once more. Johnson's team leading 8th goal of the year. Still early in the third, Mounds View's Audrey Jackson races end-to-end, able to beat Johnson short side to put the Mustangs in front once again, despite being heavily outshot all game long. Well, Bluebirds are going to tie it up again just a couple of minutes later. In on a 2-1, Williams' shot is stopped, but Anna Bezcalo is there to jam the rebound home. The game is tied at 3. Well, no score through overtime, so it goes to a shootout. Jackson on the rush for the Mustangs comes across to her forehand, but Elia Johnson, well, she's going to make the save. Anna Bezcalo, the third shooter for the Bluebirds, skates right in on net. Good fake to her left to open up the right-hand side. That turned out to be the only goal in the 5-round shootout. Now, last chance coming up for the Mustangs. Lisa Nadeau needs to score to even it up. She goes to her backhand, misses wide. A little bit of a delayed reaction from the Bluebirds bench before they realize, hey, we've won. They get the consolation title of the Kaposia Classic. The game will go in the record book as a third tie of the season, unfortunately, Joe. And you know, you get the win, but unfortunately in your record it only shows as a tie. Yeah, and it's a team that they really felt they should have gotten the victory against. They outshot them something like 50-17, but we had Johnson and Johnson in net, and Mounds View's Johnson stood on top of her head. Oh yeah,
made
50 shots,
47 saves.
Yep.
So she really earned the tie for her Mustangs, and for the Bluebirds, you know, it's one of those things where you get the win, you get to feel good about it, but you really feel that that's a team you should have put away. You should have been able to finish a few more times on 50 shots. Yeah, especially a team with their record coming in. You figured that this is an opportunity for you just to get the win. Instead of going 2-1, they go 1-1-1, which is a little bit disappointing. Yeah, that's not how they hope to go through that tournament, but the season moves on. The Bluebirds with a couple of home games. They host Rogers on Thursday, and then they will host Armstrong Cooper on Saturday. A couple of good chances to get victories for the Bluebirds. Wrestling team, as we mentioned at the top of the show, unable to head to Fargo for the Rumble on the Red. It was the only event they had over the past couple of weeks, so they will resume action. A big dual meet coming up this week on the road against Elk River. The Elks, a team in the Northwest Suburban that has really come on strong the past few years, able to beat the Cardinals. I'm not sure if it was last year or the year before, but have been able to topple the Cardinals in recent years. So I believe it was actually 2 years ago, and then the Cardinals got them back last year. But certainly not one they can look past. And then they're in Farmington for a duels tournament on Saturday. Gymnastics team headed into the holiday break facing one of the toughest opponents they'll see all season long. The Anoka Tornadoes are ranked top 10 in the state. They have a lot of talent and a lot of depth. It could be a good test for the young Cardinals club to see where they stand and how they handle the pressure when facing a very talented opponent. Sophomore Cassie Rushmeyer continues to be a leader for the Cardinals. She's their top finisher on vault against Anoka. Great landing there helps her to an 8.3, takes 5th place. Junior Rachel Dieter's up next. She gets a little sideways on the vault, but still finishes with a very respectable 8.05 to finish in 7th place. Junior Aaliyah Vu off to a great start this season, leads the Cardinals in 2 events against Anoka. That includes that routine, great dismount off the bars, little step on the landing, but she finishes 4th with an 8.1. Vu also the leader on the beam, nice handspring, part of a 5th place finish as she scores an 8.0. Watch the dismount here. Forward somersault, sticks the landing. Good night for her. Dieters again, this time on the floor where she leads the Cardinals with the team's best score of the night. She posts an 8.8 for her routine. That has to settle for 4th place. Cardinals score a 121.6, well short of Anoka, which finishes just shy of 140. They were missing one of their top varsity performers for that event. And they've got a busy week this week. They're at Centennial on Wednesday, at Park Center on Thursday, and then at the Princeton Invitational on Saturday. I texted back and forth with Coach Diane Habel this afternoon, and she said, everybody should be back, and they're really looking to step that up, get back into hopefully moving those numbers up closer to the mid to high 120s.
Yeah, and obviously their goal is to try and get into that 130s, but they've got a little ways to go. But again, missing an athlete, you're going to lose out a few points there, so they'll get there.
Yep.
Well, the swimming and diving team had a happy holiday break after finishing the first part of their schedule with a flurry that included a historic event. At the beginning of the season, the Cardinals felt they had a chance to do some special things this year. One of their goals was to beat some teams they hadn't been able to beat in a long, long time. At the top of that list was their pool mate, the Blaine Bengals. And on Tuesday the 18th, they met the Bengals for a battle of supremacy at Northdale Pool. Both teams knew this one would be close to the finish and that every point was important. Cardinals get to an early lead thanks to some impressive performances from their leaders. Second event of the night, Andrew Trung getting the dominant win in the 200 free, close to the wall in a time of 2:00.79. Up next, the 200 IM, the freshman Tyler Schultz leaves no doubt from the very start buries the competition. He almost 20 seconds ahead in second place. He wins in a time of 2:07.78. Cards grab 3rd and 4th as well, and they lead 30-16 after 3 events. It was a nice start for them. Well, the Bengals swept the 50 free, but Jack Simmer gets to the back on top of the podium with a great performance off the board. He takes first in diving with a score of 200.55. That started another streak of first place finishes as we get back to swimming with the 100 butterfly. It's sophomore Matthew Struess getting the pace in this one. He gets out in front, holds the lead to the very end, winning in a time of 57.94. Nice race there. Tyler Schultz back in the blocks for the next event, the 100 freestyle. The Bengals have some strong freestylers, but not strong enough to beat Schultz. He gets another win in a time of 51.36. Another fine performance by him. Well, the Cardinals led by as much as 13, but the Bengals clawed their way back in the meet, it was tied at 86 going into the final event. Cardinals saved their best for last. Andrew Trung, Carwin White, Matt Struess, and Tyler Schultz team up for the 400 free relay. And when they get Schultz in the water with the lead, well, they knew they had the win. It's the Cardinals' first win over the Bengals since 2001, and they end with a well-deserved and long-awaited celebration. And we were there, obviously, and that was fun. It was a nice win for them. Nice to get that win for a long time, and again, well-deserved and a good celebration here to finish that one up.
Yeah, Coach Doug Donaldson, when I was there for the preview, had talked about thinking this might be the year. He, in all of his time as a student athlete with this program and as a coach, has never beaten the Bengals. And he said this is a year where things are really looking like we might be able to get that monkey off our back. And glad to see that it did not end up jinxing himself. And they were able to get that win. And it was so great for us to be a part of it, especially since we were scheduled to do the boys hockey game that night, but that was the game against Providence Academy, which we found out last minute was postponed. And we looked at what else we could possibly do that night, and we said, let's go do the swim meet. It's against Blaine. It's one that they feel they have a chance to win, and it was a win.
Meant to be.
And it not only was a win, but it was an exciting finish. Went right down to the end, and it was the first time in 17 years.
Well, I can't remember the last time we did a swim meet where it was tied at the very last event and decided it. And we may have, but it's been so long I don't remember.
Yeah, it does not happen very often. I do believe we had one similar, I think, against maybe Park Center, but it was more than a handful of years ago. So certainly not fresh in our memories, but certainly this we were really fortunate that last week before the holiday break to come away with a couple of really exciting automatic CTN Classics.
Without a doubt.
We got the boys so basketball game to talk about here in a couple of minutes. Well, the swimming and diving team followed that up with a couple of wins on Thursday. They competed in a triple duel with Park Center and Irondale. That's why you see a score like 144-30. Nobody likes to see that score in swimming. No. It's a very gentlemanly sport. Once a team has enough to win, they stop accumulating points. But when it's a triple duel, this is just the way the score comes out. So some of the top performances, Matt Struess was first in the 200 free, Tyler Schultz first in the 200 IM, Ethan Warmack first in the 50 free, Jack Simmer another first place finish with a 200.45 in diving, and Trong was first in the 100 fly. They also beat Irondale 98-88 that same night. Tyler Schultz first place in the 500 free. That's as fast as he was going at the end of last season in the 500 free. Not an event he swims very often, but great to see him not only getting a first place finish, but posting a time like that. Matt Struess was first in the 100 back. Trong was first in the 100 breast, and both the 200 medley relay and the 200 free relay had first place finishes as well. Then they had a week off to relax, enjoy family, that kind of thing. But back into action this week. They host Andover on Thursday, and then the Maroon and Gold invite over at the University of Minnesota Aquatic Center on Saturday. So big week for them.
Should be fun.
Nordic ski team, another program that was sidelined by the snow.
Yeah.
A team that prays and hopes for snow. And when it comes, it means they didn't get to go to one of their holiday tournaments. They didn't get to go on their winter camp. They did make it, but it was a little late, and they didn't get to race. Before that, though, they did compete with their Northwest Suburban Conference foes and in a 5K skate. Boys finished fourth place in that event on the 19th. Josh Thoen, fifth place. Jared Haida, sixth place. Ricky Petrov was in 16th. Noah Christensen, 21st. And Miles Gilliard in 24th. Girls fared a little better. They finished second place with Abby Ellenbecker, fourth overall. Her sister, Olivia Ellenbecker, right behind her, tied for fifth place. And Lila Gilliard was 16th. Sarah Eichstad, 18th, and Izzy Haberman was in 23rd. They did go to Mora for the Mora invite over the 21st, 22nd weekend, and where the boys finished in fifth place. Josh Thoen again leading the way. Peyton Martinek was second for the Cardinals in 16th place tie. Miles Gilliard in 33rd, and Prisbilla in 43rd. And this was a pursuit for both teams, so you have to be strong in both events. Abby Ellenbecker certainly is. She was first place overall for the girls team in the Mora invite, and her sister Olivia was in fourth place. Lila Gilliard tied for 13th place, and Izzy Haberman was in 33rd place. The numbers you see on the far right side is the team points they scored for the Cardinals. Then they were supposed to go for right after Christmas, they were supposed to go out of town, I think on Thursday or Friday, for their winter camp, and then to a tournament in Hayward, Wisconsin, and they were not able to travel on Friday.
So much.
They did go down on Saturday, though, and got to ski in Hayward. Did not race, but did ski over the weekend.
Got the opportunity to do that.
Get some good time on some real snow. They've got a couple of events coming up this week. They have the Northwest Suburban Conference, another skate race, that one at Highland Hills on Wednesday. Then they take part in the Mesabi Invite on Saturday. That is, of course, weather permitting. Another big storm moves in.
You never know.
Like, yay, we're getting snow. Oh, we don't get to go.
Yeah, we got a foot.
It's a double-edged sword. The Alpine ski team finally getting its first action on the 18th. The first race of the season, the boys Alpine team finishing 18th. Hawkinson was their top finisher in 25th. Reed Smith finished in 44th. Nico Tweedy was 46th. Jacob Sides was 50th. And Kai Tweedy, after a very disappointing first run, came back, actually had a pretty solid second run, but had to settle for 71st place. On the girls' side, they finished in 8th place. Emma Bolin was their top finisher in 23rd. Emily Verbeek finished 37th, with Robidoux just a couple of places behind her in 39th. Eckert finished in 54th, and Vosine was in 70th. They have their second race at Wild Mountain on Thursday, and then get their first race on what is considered their home turf of Trollhagen a week from Thursday on the 10th.
Yeah, good. And the weather, actually, the weather's going to be kind of nice as the week goes on here this week. It's going to be in the mid-30s, so it'll be interesting.
Yeah, boys basketball, we briefly touched on it. A very exciting.
Very exciting.
Very exciting game before the Christmas break, but
that one not so much.
They needed it because on Tuesday, the 18th, Champlain Park, actually, one of their top players hurt his ankle right away at the beginning of the game. Gave the Cardinals a little hope they might be able to topple a pretty tough opponent, but the Rebels with plenty of depth that they didn't need it. Jackson Aurelius, another nice game, 14 points, 4 boards. David Asayama had double digits as well with 10 points and 4 boards, but Cardinals well short of the Rebels, losing 90-54. Well, the Cardinals needed to bounce back from that loss and knew they would have a good chance against crosstown rival Blaine on Friday night. Bengals were off to a good start at 3-1, including a win over Cambridge Isani, who had beaten the Cardinals by more than 30 points. Still, the Cardinals were confident they matched up well with the Bengals and would give them more than they could handle. Bengals come out shooting, and it helps them build the lead early. Their scoring leader, Lucas Larson, finding open room on the perimeter, getting himself into a rhythm early. And his guys kept getting him the ball. Larson had 4 three-pointers early on, helped the Bengals jump to a 20-5 lead midway through the first. The Cardinals don't give up. Their defense helps them get back in the game. David Asayama with a great steal, and then he'll drop it off for Elijah McGrath to score the easy basket. Cardinals still trail by 9 at the half. Blaine trying to stretch the lead, but the Cardinals defense comes up big again. Jordan Doe with the steal, then quickly up court to Asayama. Sprints to the basket, keeps the Bengals from running away. Cardinals with the inbound, and the shot is off the mark. But Lucky Morange there for the rebound, the basket, plus the foul. Still, they trail by 9. They get some more big baskets. This time it's Patrick Perot left alone on the wing. His three-pointer put Blaine up by 17 with 11 minutes to play. Cardinals take flight from there, though. Reese Mon skying for the deflection. It's right to Asayama. He decks it. 2 of his game-high 18. Part of an 18-3 Coon Rapids run. Momentum clearly in their favor. Jordan Doe drives baseline, scores on the reverse. Cardinals take their first lead of the night, 56-54, with 3 minutes left. They're able to hold on from there. Cardinals with a huge come-from-behind win, 62-59, the final, and the celebration is on the floor.
It was an exciting contest. There's no question about it. And you talk about a second half surge, and they really did, because they were down at the break.
Down 16.
And Blaine had all the momentum.
Almost midway through that second half, they were down 16 points. And then the defense stepped it up. And the great part about it was that when certain players are off, they have other guys stepping up. It was really a team win.
You bet.
There were guys that didn't really factor into the scoring as much, but came up with big defensive plays that helped that team get things turned around. And they never gave up.
They never did. Never did. After having a long weekend to celebrate the holiday, the Cardinals returned to action last week as they hosted their annual holiday tournament. The Cardinals were heavily favored in the opening round against St. Paul Humboldt. The Hawks are a Double-A team with a respectable record, but the Cardinals are used to playing at a much higher level, and they left no doubt in the outcome of this one. Cardinals defense helps them to jump to a big early lead. Jackson Aurelius gets the hand on the pass. Coon Rapids is on the move. Good passing finds Marshall Holland open for the 3. Cardinals score the first 11 points of the game. Well, they were far from finished. Defense turning to offense again. Big block at the basket, then push up court. Aurelius is alone at the break. Cards jump to a 19-2 lead less than 5 minutes into the game. After Humboldt cut the lead to 7, the Cardinals stretch it again in the first half. David Asayama with a steal, the breakaway, and the dunk. and they just continue to push the lead. Elijah McGrath finds the seam, drives to the basket for the easy layup, the start of a big night for him. Late in the first half, McGrath with an open look from the left wing hits the three. Cardinals push the lead to as high as 25 and going to the locker room up 57-34. Crazy play in the second. Reese Mon with a steal, then kicks it over his head to give himself a breakaway basket. Card starts the second with a 24 run. They're going to cruise the rest of the way. McGrath and Aurelius led with 20 points each. Osayame adds 19, including 4 dunks. Cardinals on easy 96-51 win. That was fun, too.
It was, and they followed it up with an almost 20-point victory over Simley. Another big night for a number of players. 5 guys in double digits. Marshall Holland, a double-double with 19 points, 12 rebounds. Nice to see him finding the bottom of the basket after a couple of games struggling to score points. Morange had 13 and 5 steals. Aurelius had 13 points. Osayama had 11, and Jordan Doe into double digits with 10 points as well. Always nice to get a couple of wins like that. Help your confidence, build your momentum, and that's part of the reason why they scheduled teams like Humboldt and Simley to come in. And St. Agnes, I think, was the 4th team in that tournament. But good thing for the Cardinals to get that momentum, give themselves a little more moving forward. The Cardinals host Elk River on Friday, and that will be a much stiffer challenge. And then they have Anoka next Tuesday. And Howie?
We'll be there.
Girls basketball team was supposed to go to Fergus Falls for a holiday tournament last week, but that trip was canceled because of the storm. Cardinals could have used the trip after a couple of disappointing losses the week before. On Tuesday the 18th, the Cardinals hosted Champlin Park. It was a good chance to get a big conference victory. The Rebels had lost 4 straight after starting the season with a win over Mounds View. Cardinals trying to start fast by exploiting their size advantage in the paint. Laney Hanneman spins to the right and scores, with the Cards trailing from early on. Full court trap for the Rebels pays off. Izzy Quick gets the steal. She'll take it up strong, gets the basket to keep Champlin Park in front. Cardinals doing what they can to keep pace. They go back to Hanneman in the lane. She'll turn and score. She had a team-high 17, but the Cardinals trail by 14 at that point. Rebels getting a steal and starting to run 2-on-1. Finished by Deja Jenkins. Helps keep Champlin Park well out front. Late in the half, they continue to stretch the lead. 3-pointer is off the mark. Strong rebound and put back by Michaela Johnson. Rebels go to the locker room up 40-20. Cardinals trying to come back in the second. Inbound goes up top, then into Nicole Post in the post. She scores with the left hand. Part of a 10-point night for her. But they couldn't shut down the Rebels at the other end. Good ball movement. And they find Natalie Warwa with the open look from the top of the key. Champlin Park gets its scoring. Gets its second win of the year, beating the Cardinals 65-45. And then on Friday, Cardinals come up short against crosstown rival Blaine, losing by 3, 52-49, the final there. Lexi West leading the way with 15 points and 4 boards. Flatham and Artis each had 9. Kylie Hetwer had 7. Hanneman had 4. And a number of players had 2 or 3.
Yeah, a couple of tough losses, especially the one against Blaine. It was a close game. Obviously, they would have liked to get that win. But it's still an early season at this point.
Well, and they've got a tough one coming up on Friday. They host Elk River. And Howie?
We'll be there.
Then they are at Anoka on Tuesday. So a couple of big tests for the Cardinals girls to start the new year.
Yeah, and I'm looking forward to seeing their squad again on Friday. Should be a good one.
Yep. And that will be where you will find us next. And then, next is going to be the boys hockey game against Armstrong on Tuesday. Then, or on Thursday. Then girls basketball on Friday. Boys basketball next Tuesday. But that's going to do it for this edition of Sports Night. I want to thank everybody out there for joining us. Continue to support everything we do here at CTM. To the entire crew, including Howie Shapiro, I'm Joe Young, saying good night.